Seriously, Sweden is cray. Super shades. 50 shades of cray. My days. It's one thing you think about Sweden. You're constantly told like how great it is. You know, like they've got these social programs, and Stockholm's the cleanest city on planet Earth. But they do pay 80% tax, and you have to take out a mortgage to buy a pint of lager. But apparently Sweden's freaking awesome. But I'll tell you one thing. You don't really think about how gangster Sweden is. In the UK, we got gangs here, and we got gangsters. You know, we got street gangs. We've got a long history of some gangster business. You know, from the Adams family to the Brindles to the Crays to the Richardsons, stemming back to the Sabinis, and the Irish gangs and the Jewish gangs and the Chinese gangs. You know, and then our street gangs from the Burger Bar boys to the Peckham boys to the 21 gang to the freaking the ghetto boys. You know, it's all the Moslems, the Longside crew, the Pitbull gang, the Cheetham Hill gang. All these gangster stuff. And for all these years of gangster stuff, you know, we've had our shootings, you know, our stabbings. But I never heard of gangs blowing each other up with bombs. I mean, that's unlike. You only hear about that sort of stuff in like outside of war zones. Obviously, we've had bombings in the UK, but that's like due to terrorism and military type business. But the only time we sort of hear about like bombings and stuff, we think of is like in Italy, you know, in like Naples or Sicily, or mafia wars where they like to bomb judges and bomb journalists and bomb each other. But the UK, we never got rival gangs blowing each other up. Do you know what I'm saying? This is crazy. Sweden, 100 explosions this year. What's going on? Now, is it because they got bad gas? Is the gas installations bad? Why is Sweden gangster? Well, let's have a look. When 3 explosions took place in one night across different parts of Stockholm last month, it came as a shock to residents. There had been blasts in other city suburbs, but never on their doorstep. Swedish police are dealing with unprecedented levels of attacks targeting city centre locations too. The bomb squad was called to deal with 97 explosions in the first 9 months of this year. And Sweden's a small country, man. I grew up here, and you feel like that environment gets violated, says Joel 22. The front door of the apartment block in the central Stockholm neighbourhood of Södermalm was blown out and windows were shattered along the street. Who is to blame? The category of crime was not even logged prior to 2017. What? Then in 2018, there were 162 explosions. What? In the past 2 months alone, the bomb squad have been called to almost 30. Bangers, improvised explosives, and hand grenades are behind most of the blasts, says Linda H. Straff, head of intelligence at Sweden's National Operations Department. It's not really funny. Oh my God, it's funny. The attacks are usually carried out by criminal gangs to scare rival groups on their close friends and family, she says. I mean, this is a serious situation, but most people shouldn't be worried because they are not going to be affected. Which is what I always say about, most gun crime and stuff. It's like, well, if you ain't about that life, keep your nose clean. Probably not going to die. Teams have been sent to work with gang crime specialists in the US, Germany, and the Netherlands, and they are liaising with Swedish military experts who dealt with explosives in Africa and Afghanistan. It's very new in Sweden, and we're looking for knowledge around the world, says Matt Lovning, head of the National Operations Department. This is why Sweden is becoming such a hot topic for political debates, isn't it? On both sides of the aisle. The left wing say, oh, this is a brilliant example of socialism in effect, or democratic socialism, or whatever, and the right wing goes, oh no, but look, there's immigrants blowing each other up. It's like, wow, good God, what do you do? For criminologist Amir Rostami, the only relevant comparison is Mexico. What do you think about that? Mexico. And we know Mexico's gangster, plagued by gang violence. Yeah, you got that one right, pal. This is unique in countries that pretty much don't have a war or don't have a long history of terrorism, he says. Where are the explosions? Most attacks have taken place in low-income, vulnerable suburbs in the biggest cities, Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö. Malmö had 3 blasts in just over 24 hours at the start of this month. But more affluent places are now being targeted too. An explosion in a residential northern Stockholm suburb of Bromma last month destroyed the entrance to a block of flats, blew out windows and damaged cars. A 20-year-old passerby was treated in hospital when a bomb targeted a grocery shop in the historic university city of Lund. 25 people were hurt, and a block of flats was targeted in the central town of Linkoping. Södermalm is a former working-class area that has become increasingly gentrified. Vintage boutiques and vegan delicatessens break up groups of mustard and terracotta-painted apartment blocks. Maybe people just hate gentrification, I don't know. The building targeted is opposite a park and close to a school. Oh, I think they're close to a school as well. How disgusting. And immediately afterwards, when police closed off the streets and walked with my 2 kids to preschool, I got really scared, says Malin Bradshaw, who lives a few doors down. No arrests have been made, and police will not comment on potential motives. If I was targeted, then to be honest, it makes us feel safer because then the attack was not aimed to harm the public, says Mr. Bradshaw, hoping it was not a random attack. Fair enough. Who are Sweden's criminal gangs? Well, let's find out. Police say criminals involved are part of the same gang behind an increase in gun crime, often connected to the drugs trade. Sweden saw 45 deadly shootings in 2018 compared with 17 in 2011. But why they have added explosives to their arsenal is unclear. It's more effective, I don't know. The Swedish police do not record or release the ethnicity of suspects or convicted criminals. Probably a wise move. But Intelligence Chief Linda H. Straff says many who share a similar profile. They have grown up in Sweden and they are from socio-economically weak groups, socio-economically weak areas, and many are perhaps second or third generation immigrants, she says. That's kind of pretty standard across the world, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's kind of always gone down like that. Ideological debates about immigration have intensified since Sweden took in the highest number of asylum seekers per capita in the EU during the migrant crisis of 2015. But Ms. Straff says it is not correct to suggest new arrivals are typically involved in gang networks. But they could maybe be providing a pipeline for explosives. I don't know. Maybe there's, I don't know. For many on the political right, the explosions add fuel to their argument that Sweden has struggled to integrate migrants over the past 2 decades. In the future, the situation might grow even bigger and even more problematic, says Myra Aksoy, who describes herself as a national conservative writer. Since they are in the same area, they are at the same mindset. It's easy for them to connect to each other. They don't feel like they should become part of Sweden, and they stay in their segregated communities and start doing crimes. This is a problem with when you ghettoize people. Always is, man. Integration is kind of important with this stuff, whether you like it or not. It is. This kind of sentiment has grown in recent years in the nationalist Sweden. Democrats attracted 8% of the vote in 2018, but Malin Bradshaw believes crime levels are more to do with income and social status. But I thought everything was super cool in Sweden with your amazing I thought you had amazing social programs. Or is that just a big fat lie as well? You know, is it just all a lie? Is everything just a fucking lie these days? Probably. Emir Rostami says ethnicity rarely plays a big role in gang membership in Sweden. When it vote gang members, the gang is their new country. The gang is their new identity. Did Swedish media hush it up? Another important layer of this story is how it has been covered by Swedish media. After last month's trio of attacks in Stockholm, public broadcaster SVT was accused of a leftist cover-up for leaving the story out of the main evening news program. I think that they have not done a great job. I feel like they're trying to shrink the news, argues writer Mira Aksoy. sorry, I can't see this bit. Yeah. Christiansen, that is the most Scandinavian name of all time, a journalism professor at Stockholm University, was himself surprised that some programs paid little attention to the explosions, but feels there was extensive coverage in the big newspapers and most local news programs. The problem is that Sweden is used symbolically as proof of problems with immigration, proof of problems with leftist policies, unfairly in many cases, he argues. A recent study from polling company Kantasiva found that Law and Order was the most covered news topic on Swedish TV. Okay, right. And radio and on social media. What are authorities doing? Police say they are trying to track down the perpetrators, but only 1 in 10 of such crimes in 2018 has led to a conviction. The head of the National Operations Department has promised greater coordination with security police. The Home Affairs Minister has announced increased powers to search suspects' homes in greater efforts to break the culture of silence around gang crime. Yeah, good luck with that one, pal. But in Södermalm, resident Anders Herdenstam says there has to be a greater focus on integration. I am not afraid of where I live. I am more concerned when it comes to developments in Sweden nationally. Wow. Well. Like I said, well, I haven't just said it. Like I always say, the truth's like going to be somewhere in the middle, isn't it? It's going to be around here. It's going to be around here. It's not over here. Don't be over there. It's not over here. Don't be over there. It's going to be around here. Around here. It is kind of amusing how they blame it. They're saying it's socio-economic problems. As always is with spikes in crime, but we've been constantly told how freaking great Sweden is, how super cool it is. That's pushed a lot, and I know there is a side of the media that says, "Oh, Sweden's experienced massive problems," but people kind of dismiss that, saying, "No, it's not." Well, it is, isn't it? Because for pre-2017, it not to be a thing, like in 2 years, it's become like the bombing capital, and Malmo is it? And I think Malmo now is like the murder capital of Western Europe. What? There's something going on there. We don't know exactly what. Well, I don't. That's for sure. But I think other people would know way better than me. And that there's problems, for people to highlight Sweden as a place experiencing a lot of problems is justified, for sure. And maybe you should send a message out to certain Swedes going around the world telling everyone how to live their lives and do their business. Well, why don't you clean up your backyard first before you start preaching at us? Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think you've got a few issues there to sort out yourselves before you start wagging your fingers at the rest of us. Paleo, you know what I'm saying? Because, never in my wildest dreams would I think in the future that Sweden would be, the #1 gangster country in Europe. Wow. Sweden. Interesting. Well, you can cross that off your list of places to go on holiday.